So far in this unit, we've been working with a relation between x and y. You might see that relation as a table or a mapping or even a graph or plotted points, but one way or another, it's an x and a y that are paired together to give you a relation. But then the gods of math posed this question: when you're looking at a relation, is it a function? And earlier you learned this rule. It's a function if each input has exactly one output. For example, the relation that I have shown here in red turns out to not be a function, and you would spot that because the x value, or the input value of 1, pairs up with a 4 for an output, but a 1 also pairs up with an 8. So the input of 1 does not have exactly one output, it has two different outputs. But what happens if the relation that you're shown between x and y is in the form of a graph? How do we find out if that's a function? Remember, the rule is for each input you have exactly one output. And the way you're going to determine if it's a function in graphical form is what's called the vertical line test. And it reads like this: if a vertical line intersects the graph more than one time, it is not a function. So for example, if I draw a vertical line through this graph anywhere, it doesn't matter where I draw it, my vertical line is going to intersect the graph only once. That means yes, it is a function. In this other mapping, or this other graph over here, if I were to draw a vertical line right there, it would intersect the graph more than one time, meaning it is now not a function. But why is that? Let's take a look. I've taken the time to write in the coordinates at which my vertical line hit this graph. It hit it at 2, -2, and it also hit it at 2, +6. So what happened here is, for the input of 2, I did not have exactly one output. I had two different outputs. In other words, a 2 mapped to a 6 and a 2 mapped to a -2. So when that happened, when the 2 mapped to two different outputs, I broke the rule. But the rule, when you're in graphical form, can be made probably easier on your brain by just saying, hey, if I draw a vertical line and it intersects the graph in more than one spot, then it is not a function.